Okay, so welcome to part two. Let's go over. Now I'm logged into a different trap account, solo trap account still, and this is 116 million might. And reason for increase might has to do with uh, fighting against those paid familiars and potentially going against Titan kingdoms or Titan hitters. So here's basically it's same principle as my teen solo trap account in part one, but this particular one is C25 and it's at level 60 now. Okay, and if we look again, we are looking at quests turned in, and you notice here I only turned in 4 mites for a quest, which is very low, and that was accidental, just finger twitch that happened and turned in that quest, but it never should have. But you'll see very hefty troop count. So the repeating theme here on solo trap is that it's very heavy on troops. And in order for you to defend against mythic champs and whatnot, you have to have a lot of troops because there's no way you're going to, even if you're going to counter them with a T4 exact 375k, they're going to run through you. So it's better to have millions and millions of troops and have lower stats and be able to basically swarm them and try to come out alive. So you can see it's a lot of troop. Buildings and research are minimal, and of course here, reason why I don't even have quick swap here, just because I try to shave off every little possible might that could be added. And being level 60 now, I'm able to actually put on some level 60 gears, and it's got decent gear. It's not the best, and of course, I'm gonna keep on trying to add on more jewels. I'm probably not going to buy any more material packs, and the biggest reason for it is because once you have too good of a equipment or gear, then people are going to seriously start to think about hitting you. So you want to have mediocre gear like this blue and purples, or maybe F2P gear for you to entice them to hit you. Because if you're showing like mythic champ on your gear set, which would not happen on a solo trap, but if you are, there's nobody that's going to try to hit you with that particular gear, right? Okay, so now let's look at my um, how my talents are set up. So I open up and max out my offense because this gives you army attack 5%. Army attack is the best thing you can get in this game. If this actually had option to put all your talents into army attack, that's what everyone would be doing. Now, some of you will go down and start clicking on or maxing out these offense level one. What you want to do is go all the way to the bottom and max out your offense level threes first, and then you want to do health squad because it gives you army HP. And here, through maxing it out, I'm gaining 87% on army HP. And then after that, you want to go ahead and go onto your level twos and then fill out as much as you can. And reason why range is two below others is because I have the best stat in range, so I'm compensated by putting in additional talents into my infantry and cabs. And since I'm done, I mostly stay in this. I never stop training troops. I will always train troops, even on non or in war talent, just because eventually you will lose some troops. You will get, as a solo trap, expect a lot of pirates hits, and so you will lose them here and there. Now, big thing difference about C25 here is that my infirms are all maxed, and they're all infirms. It's not I don't have mainers, and I don't have resource buildings here. But reason why I put infirmary is because of that 5% army HP I get. And 5 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 16. That's additional 80% on army HP I just gained. And I got one barracks just to be training, and I'm always training. Now, while we're here in the barracks, while I'll show you my comp, it's 20 million troops. That's a lot of troops. I have about 8 million and 6 million in the back on the range and cav. And then on the front, gladiator, I'm always adding additional, and just because more up front, and this is my thought process here, more infantry up front definitely, from my experience, seem to take less damage from T5 to T4 hits, just because maybe it's the number of troops I have up front, but by losing less, when their familiar hits my back line, I actually have more room because less are injured in the front for the back line to go into the hospital. So it works out pretty well for me, and I will probably pump even more gladiators in the future. And recent addition, what I've done is I've actually added some T3s in the back line, a little bit in the front, but I added them like 100k each, just because I'm trying to test to see if they actually make a difference. But it does seem to make a difference on my other trap that I have, but that's even fatter one at 122 million. But it's in testing mode, so I don't know. I can't guarantee you, or I can't tell you T3s actually help or not. And reason why I started doing this is because I I've heard, and several people actually, I think, confirmed that there's maximum number of troops that will get involved in a battle per tier. So if that's the case, then maybe all of my T1 backline is not engaging, and that is why I built up some T3, hoping that if that is the case, then maybe the T3s will have additional input in the attack. So that's my thought process. And once I find out a little bit more after testing, I'll go ahead and maybe trim out some of the troops that I don't need. So that's that. And then, of course, again, here I will see my heroes, standard heroes. They're all gold and rank 8. And then I have a couple of familiar slots. I didn't open up my third slot just because I didn't want to add additional million might. Yeah. And I didn't think that was worth it. Same thing with my research. If we go all the way to military, you can see infantry to 10. And then you will also see defense to 9 and health to 9. Just because I had to take the attack to 10. And then here I only did the army to 8, level 8 only. It is possible that I might go 9, but I think 8 seems to work okay, especially if you have the right comp and right stats. It seems to be doing pretty well. Now familiars, same thing. Pack 3 open. Now let's go ahead and look at my stat line here. You'll notice everything else is just really bad stat. And then my military, I'm hovering right around 300, and that's pretty much it. And what only thing I'm wanting to do at this point is work on jewels. If I can get legendary jewels, that would be awesome, and probably that would allow me to maybe get rid of some of the troops and maybe shave off my might to make it look even smaller. And because all I want is basically, if you can cap a Titan, you're and be able to get a lot of hits off of your trap, then it's the best kind of trap, solo trap you can do, I think. Okay, so next area we have the gear, we have that. Okay, so let's talk about some of the tricks, tips and tricks about solo trapping. So my number one rule on solo trapping is never fury. So with C25 you have 15 minutes of fury time. That is easily two rallies that can hit you. And one rally could be detrimental, but with two, it's almost guaranteed that your solo trap will zero out. So never ever fury. And I've seen some of the players out there that did not want to spend gems, so they actually start a ghost rally on an account to get their shield off, but they got unlucky and got somebody was watching their trap and put on rally instantly, and they got zeroed out and losing millions and millions of troops, over 3,000 gems to pour into wonders to take off your shield and pour back into your hive. So for me, if I wanted to take off my shield, I could simply just pour it into the wonders anywhere, and it will take your shield off, right? And then once you take the shield off, then you can actually go back into your hive, or maybe you can even random out. And this is what I've done with this particular trap here that I got set up. It's in gear, and basically it's taking the shield off, but it's not in fury. So that's another way to start take off your shield easily. So never ever fury on your trap account. And then also there are many other tips and tricks that you can do to make them think that you're going into fury. Like have somebody start a fake rally for you and join their fake um, DN rally, darkness rally. Then it makes it look like you just reinforced them and you're in fury as well, right? And worst thing you can do as a trap, especially if you look like a trap, that you shouldn't be porting right next to a target, or you shouldn't be porting right next to someone that you want to trap and act like a trap, because it just pretty much shouts out that, hey, I'm a trap, hit me, right? And they most likely will not hit you. Now, another thing you want to do about thing you want to change about trap is, let's say we go into this particular trap here. Um, the kills you can't really do much. I don't have a lot of kills on my traps, just because I have several different one, and so it puts kills among it shares kills among different castles, because I'm not on them a lot. And you're probably asking, why do I have so many traps or whatever? um, I always have like two traps in rotation, just because sometimes I like to work them together as one trap with another, work together to trap another, or sometimes I get prepared just in case one of the traps gets zeroed, because they can get zeroed. Um, so the other one can be out and about functioning, while one that got zeroed can be back into the rebuild mode, right? So let's look at the stats here. If we look at the stats here, win rate 60%. There's turf lost 111 times. This leader captured 14 times. So it doesn't look too crazy. It doesn't look like I'm, failed defenses 151. So you want to make it look like stat where it's, by maybe setting camp and having your guildmate hit you over and over, so you have failed defenses, right? And then sometimes when you first start to build a trap account, you want to leave it unshielded and just put all the troops into infirmary and sanctuary, and just keep losing those attacks, keep getting your leader captured while you're brown castle, to in order for you to build up enough crappy stats, so when you start getting or when you start trapping, that all those will balance off with all the crappy stats that you gathered up so far. Okay. So that is another trap tip, and there's so many other ones. And any of you who's watching this, if you have a tip that you use that's worked for you well, go ahead and post that below, and then we can share it among trap community. And there's a community out there for trapping too. So if you're trying to get into that community, let me know. I'll get you invited into that community, and we should be able to share even more information. But hopefully, these couple of videos will help you if you're building your trap, and allow you to, I don't know, perform a little bit better. Because I know a lot of people at the beginning, they're just building tons and tons of T3s, but T3s obviously will make you look so heavy on the mite that it doesn't look like a trap anymore. So even on here, look at my minimal amount of T3s, and then you will see massive front line at 5.6 million, which, yes, it can still go through. I hate to admit it, but T5 with paid familiar combos can still hurt you pretty bad. I've seen them go through some nasty numbers of troops. And then large number of T1s in the back. This is my method. There's also other people who are using just T2s across, and they'll use counters and whatnot. So it's up to you. Get as creative as you want, but one thing you have to remember, if you're going to build a solo trap, especially a low might solo trap, it needs to happen from day one. Okay. Well, anyhow, I've rambled on enough. I will catch you guys on the next video. Thanks.